Hello, hello. Let me know how the audio is, guys, and then we'll get straight into it. Sometimes the audio can be a little bit off on here, so it's always worth letting me know before I start. I've made that mistake a few times on here where we've started and it's been a bit bad, but cheers, Starlord. I wanted to jump straight into Bitcoin dominance. Of course, over the last couple of weeks, our analysis up here has been that I wanted to see the Bitcoin dominance drop. We got a little bit of alt run, but the market came back to the upside, and it's almost akin to what we got back here. And the long-lasting wick to body trend lines now coming into play with a descending channel structure as well, which has been quite well respected. I've only just drawn this out today, this channeling structure, but it's really been well respected over the past 5 or 6 years, really. Numerous wicks and candle body closes in and around these regions would suggest a potential top for Bitcoin dominance coming in soon. And how that could look, something like this. We've also got on the higher time frame, just take a look at this. From high to low, that wick to wick Fibonacci there, the 75 to 78% retracement. Also a key zone for Bitcoin dominance to be coming into now. So on the lower time frame, I think when we start to leave a wick like this on the weekly time frame, of course, we would expect at least a bit of that wick fill. The wick fill doesn't just happen to the downside when we're always looking for example, when we're looking for coins to crash and to get the big wick to the downside, and we're looking at 50%, 60%, it doesn't just happen to the downside, it also happens to the upside. Take a look back here. Every single time that we got a big wick in dominance here, whether it be 2018, we got a big wick fill, whether it be 2019, another wick fill, whether it be 2020, at least another wick fill there. So to suggest that the Bitcoin dominance is just going to drop off a cliff right now next week, I think would be a little bit of a mistake. I think what we want to look for is a couple of different scenarios that we could see. So taking this fractal here, one scenario is that we've got a little range set now for Bitcoin dominance. We've come into a key zone. Everyone starts to maybe buy a little bit of altcoins. But there is a couple of altcoins that we analysed in the last few Patreon videos that we've made in the group about potential wick fills to the downside. So maybe some people now are coming in to buy some of the retraces back to the upside for the altcoins, and maybe some people are trying to get some early longs in, and I think the market might want to just take them out. So what I want to look for is, number one, watch where this weekly candle wick closes, and we've got potential upside targets of Bitcoin dominance to 65 or maximum really 68. I wouldn't really expect it to go much beyond that, guys. Or on the lower time frame, just a wick fill to around 62, 63, 50% of that wick there to come in and get filled, which might align with a little bit of a wick fill to the downside on some altcoins that we're looking for as well. So a couple of different scenarios here for the Bitcoin dominance to be watching for, but the signs are there. The signs are there that the market potentially wants to reverse on Bitcoin dominance, and when you think about the market in general right now, and you're thinking about people calling for no alt season, I mean, people have been calling for alt season since down here, since here, and only just now people are starting to realise the saturation in the market. Only just now people are starting to realise the amount of coins in the market. But that narrative is really taking a hold at this point here. Why was it not taking hold of a point here? Because let me tell you, there was a lot of coins in the market down here, a lot of coins here, and there's a lot of coins in the market here, but the cream always rises to the top. It doesn't matter what market we're looking at, guys, whether it be a car market, whether it be a housing market, the top quality houses, the top quality cars are always going to rise to the top, and whether the market dips or pushes to the upside, the cream always rises to the top. Just take a look at XRP and H-bar, for example. Now, people telling me that alt season potentially hasn't started for them coins in a little drop like this when they went absolutely mental, I would negate that idea. I would be total opposite. I'd say absolutely the alt season for XRP and H-bar has already begun, and I don't think there's any arguments against that. We've seen rotation in the market from Bitcoin to some of the altcoins, but just think about how much money is in the market nowadays and how long it takes to rotate capital from one coin to another. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here and analyze some of the previous tops. So in previous tops, guys, the alt seasons tend to happen on the retrace back to the upside. One of the prime examples of that was during 2021. Massive alt season began here. It started to range for about 2 to 3 months, and it really was over and done with by May 2021. But that rotation of capital really started, and it took about 120 days. So that's around 4 months. Now let's take a look at what Bitcoin is, what situation Bitcoin's in at the minute. Think about it logically and without emotion, without the emotion of thinking, oh, my altcoins are crashing or Bitcoin dominance is going up. Just think about it logically here, guys. Have the big players at this point had enough time to rotate that capital around the market? I don't think so. Look at where Bitcoin is. Think about, have the big players in the market been able to take enough profit at this point? Or are there signs there that the big market players have taken enough profit to rotate the capital around the market? I don't think so. Just look at the situation Bitcoin's in at the minute. Even if we was to get a flash crash correction there and the Bitcoin dominance go up and Bitcoin dominance potentially fall in that retrace and we see altcoins outperforming, then we might start to see a little bit of a more stringent time period where people have had that 120 to 150 days to rotate that capital and altcoins run. But at the minute, this little sideways correction has been going on for 2 months. It's not enough time to rotate that capital around the market. Just look, it took about a third of a year in 2021 to really get that going. And a lot of people say that the alt season can't happen because we need new market participants in the market. And I would absolutely say no, absolutely not. Alt seasons happen when the big money has had the chance to rotate from Bitcoin to the rest of the market. It also happens when the market makers have had chance to, let's have a look at Ethereum, when the market makers have had chance to liquidate all the longs, because we cannot allow the early longs in the market to progress and have people making millions of dollars off just a single trade. The market's never going to be that easy. We have to see the liquidations first. And I think what we're seeing now with Bitcoin dominance, let's bring it back to the real aspect of the chart. We'll get all of the noise off the screen here and we'll take it to the monthly time frame. There's a technique that I like to use on the monthly time frames that many people that are in my group will know about already. Number one, it's the big bearish breaking candle. We've seen that get filled, and we've seen it get filled a couple of times. We're still starting to see wicks now get into that zone. But another thing we can do is take to the 3 monthly time frame. So I think the worst case scenario here, guys, is that Bitcoin dominance doesn't drop to new lows, and I've said that from the start of the cycle when we was talking about Bitcoin dominance going to the upside down here, and we was talking about this big bearish breaker candle getting filled, and the sentiment at the minute, it's almost akin to 2017. I don't know how many people was around for 2017, but it's almost akin to the 2017 run where Bitcoin was running, altcoins really not getting the chance, and every single cycle we've seen the same. In 2017, 2020, people say before the alt season that the market has changed and it can never happen again. So their suggestion is that the Bitcoin dominance is just going to continue all the way back to, 95, 100% without the big players rotating in the market? Absolutely, I do not believe so. One of the major things that I always look for on a higher time frame when we're looking for reversals in the market is indecision candles. And now look at what we've got here on the big 3 monthly time frame. A very important 3 monthly close when it comes in about a month and 23 days is if we can see a close below that level, 61.5, I think that's our sign to say that the market has reversed. Take a look at what happened here. A little bit of an indecision candle there, and we got the exact same. The market did in fact close a little bit above there, but it went on to produce a massive alt season. if we was to see a further drive in Bitcoin dominance, all you'd need to do is just put that wick to wick trend line there and drop it back to the lower time frame and see where that takes us. So worst case scenario, guys, is, in my opinion, this little range that we've got here, from low to high, comes in and gets filled 65%, and maybe on the 3 daily or weekly time frame that gives us our first leg up, second leg up, then we look for the retrace and wick fill, and we get that inverse head and shoulder wicks on the higher time frame for the reversal back to the downside. So I think when we're looking at Bitcoin dominance, we just have to be rational here. Take a zoom out, remove all of the noise off the chart, and think psychologically. Take it to the daily time frame. Just have a little zoom out here. There was many coins in the market down here, no one was talking about it. Many coins in the market here, nobody talking about it. Absolutely nobody talking about the big alt run that we had in XRP and HBAR and saying that there's loads of coins, we can't get an alt season. Trust me guys, the cream always rises to the top. Like I said, it's not a matter of if the altcoin season will happen, in my opinion. It's a matter of when, and narratives always come around at reversal time. So think about the FTX collapse. We had our first psychological push down, second psychological push down, ranging FTX collapse 15k. Narrative, crypto can never recover, onto 100k. So here we are in the Bitcoin dominance. Psychological push, psychological push, psychological push. Narrative is too many coins, alt season can never happen, ETFs are taking all liquidity, and the market's never going to produce an alt season ever again. Boom. I don't believe we set new lows in the altcoins. I believe we come back to this potential bullish breaker candle there around 43-44%. At that point, I've said before, I believe many people are going to be looking for the lows to be broken on the Bitcoin dominance. Now, take note of the people right now in this situation here that are calling for no alt season. When that drop in dominance comes, these are going to be the same people down here that are calling for the new lows. Because why? Why would they have to call for them new lows in dominance to benefit from it? Because if they think that no alt season is going to happen here, they're not going to buy alts up here. They're not going to buy alts when Bitcoin dominance is 61-64%. What they're going to do is they're going to wait for a drop in dominance and wait for alts to rise 200 or 300%. Then they might buy back in. They'll lose a bit of capital on a retrace in dominance. And then if we get to see that alt season, maybe they might be lucky to get something like a 200 or 300% rise in their altcoins. But that's not enough for some people, because if they're not investing here at the most, in my opinion, optimal time, then if they're going to be investing here at this point in Bitcoin dominance, they've reduced the amount of gains. Because if you see, let's take for example on an altcoin. Let's say this altcoin has gone up 70%, and then people start to reinvest money into an altcoin and it drops. The maths of it is, if you can nail an absolute bottom on the altcoins, like for example, let's take a look at Curve, a prime example of one of the opportunities in the market, in my opinion. Let's say people are starting to invest now because they see a drop in dominance coming, and they potentially see a 600 or 700% move coming. They're going to be able to have these opportunities in around these regions to take profit up at these bearish breaker candle levels, whereas the people that are potentially not calling for an alt season now, they're going to wait for maybe a high to be hit in the market to start to reinvest, and then the percentages from them levels to the levels that we're looking for, about 70 to 100%. So yeah, there's still opportunities, but the opportunities only come at the most optimal times of doing business in the market. So remember, I think if one thing is to come away from this stream today, is think about market saturation and think about all the markets in the world. I know we like to focus on cryptocurrency, but think about when you go to buy a TV, or when you go to buy a fridge freezer, or when you go to buy a car, or whether you're going to buy a house. The quality is what you're after, and the coins that have a long-lasting history is what you're after. and the brands of TV or the brands of washer or the brands of car that you know is going to last long and high quality and they're going to give you good return on investment kind of. That's what you're after. You're not after these meme coins. The real investors in this cryptocurrency market, they're not looking at these stupid meme coins, these 1,000 coins that are getting built every single day. We know it happens. We know these fake brands that create fake earphones that only last for a couple of months, whereas if you was to buy the proper brand like Apple or something like that, you know it's going to last a lot longer. You're going to get higher quality. So the real investors in the cryptocurrency market filter out all of the noise, and the big money also filter out all of the noise. It's the big money that creates the money rotations to be able to cause alt seasons for altcoins to run, and it's the retail investors that come back at the end of the alt season. It's not the retail that caused the alt season, in my opinion. So just sit back, relax, guys. Take note of the Bitcoin dominance. We've gone through a little bit on the lower time frame, medium time frame there to be watching on Bitcoin dominance. And just think about it. To end the video, we'll go back to Bitcoin. Has, in this period of time, enough time elapsed for the big money in 50 or 60 days had chance to move any money around the market to cause an alt season? I would argue no. I would argue you need a lot longer time of period to be able to do that. Something like half a year. Especially with the amount of money that's in the crypto market at the minute. We've taken a look in the Patreon group about the market cap analysis and the rotational aspects and the targets there, and how them targets can be hit with the rotations from Bitcoin and the rest of the market. So if you're interested in looking at some of them videos, maybe just think about joining the Patreon. We do at least one Patreon stream a week, and at least a couple of videos a week, and some market analysis on requests every now and then. But yeah, think about it psychologically, guys. Has enough time elapsed in this period for the big money to rotate? I would argue no, and that maybe suggests that we're not at the end of the cycle, because everyone's thinking, we're at the end of the cycle here, why has no alt season happened? Maybe just think logically and think rationally. Maybe it's because we're not at the end of the cycle yet. Maybe we've got a time period in 2025 where we need to see the rest of the market play out, the final blow off, and then we see the rotation happen. So just sit back, relax. It's not financial advice, but think rationally and always take profit. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.